Anna in the Tropics, winner of the 2003 Pulitzer Prize for Drama, is about many things. The power of language.
The shame that Anna sensed from their spiritual nakedness destroyed her and affected him.
It's about lost traditions.
When I was a child, I remember sitting in the back and listening to the stories. That has always been our pride. Some of us cigar workers may not be able to read or write, but we can recite lines from Don Quixote or Jane Eyre.
It's about cigars. But most of all, says playwright Nilo Cruz, it's about impossible love.
The kind of love that happens in between the cracks. For instance, I'm fascinated by these trees or plants that grow out of nowhere. If you look at a crack on a cement on a street, all of a sudden you see this little grass growing. It's amazing that life can get grow out of this a little bit of dirt somewhere. I'm interested in that kind of life. So that's what I want to document in my work. It's almost something that seems like it's impossible, but it is there. It takes life on its own.
I'm Ophelia.
Juan Julian Rios at your service.
It's said that there are only two plots in the world. Someone takes a trip or a stranger comes to town. In Anna in the Tropics, the stranger is a lector, played by Jimmy Smits, who is hired to read to the workers in a cigar factory in Florida. It's a tradition they brought with them from Cuba.
Do you have your luggage?
Yes, I'll have to tell the steward that I found it.
And the most beautiful thing is that the owners of the factory did not pay the lectors. It was the actual workers that took the money out of their pockets and paid for them. So it was this hunger, this thirst for literature and information, and they left this beautiful tradition of having lectors read at the factory. So that was something that was interesting me at the beginning. And I also wanted to, more than anything, document the presence of Latinos in this country.
Nilo Cruz is the first Latino to win the Pulitzer Prize for Drama. He came here from Cuba with his parents at age 9, and he spoke no English. He picked it up quickly enough, though, and does all his writing in English.
I do write in English, but I think in Spanish. And if you notice the way I speak, it's my hands and it's my body in many ways. That's something that I try to capture in the plays too. The cadence and the rhythm of Spanish people in dialogue.
Pero una novela sería demasiado, bueno, se pudiera hacer porque hay bastante material aquí, pero
you have to do that. You have to think in Spanish. And it's also what I've said to the actors. They have to think in Spanish and speak in English. And that's how you know how to say the line.
Can you smell the cologne from his handkerchief every time he dries his forehead? The fragrance wraps itself around the words like smoke.
It's heightened language. There's no question about it. And yet it has to be absolutely real, as you would with Tennessee Williams or you would with Lorca. They're poets of the stage, but you can't play them poetically. You can only play them for real.
Emily Mann has been an admirer of Cruz's stage poetry for a decade and was actively involved in refining the script of Anna.
I thought it had great potential, but didn't think it was ready. So we did a reading of that draft. And so Janice, our dramaturg, Janice Perrin, and Nilo met, and Nilo did another draft. And then we did another reading, and I liked it. It was almost ready, and then he did yet a third, and we had another reading, and then I said, this play is ready. And then after he accepted, and we announced it 3 weeks later, the Pulitzer Committee read that draft and gave him the Pulitzer Prize.
Cruz, who teaches playwriting at Yale, is a firm believer in rewriting.
There's a lot of scenes that I write that you will never see in the actual play. Because what I find sometimes that ideas get almost too big sometimes for us, and then in our mind, and then when we write them down, they're not as beautiful or as immense as we thought they were. And I think that becomes problematic for a writer. It's like we get frustrated. The reason why I like to write the way I write is because it's a process of discovery. I never get bored. As a matter of fact, it's an intrigue, it's a mystery that I want to go in there and explore further.
He covered her face and shoulders with kisses.
The eureka moment in this play came when Cruz realized what book the lector was reading to the workers, Tolstoy's Anna Karenina, and the story of her doomed love affair then takes over his characters' lives.
I'm seeing everything through new eyes. What is happening in the novel has been happening to us. Now don't look at me that way. You might not want to admit it, but Anna and her husband remind me of us, except I'm more like their husband.
So what does that make me then? Anna Karenina?
To me, characters they're like visitors that come with luggages, that piece of luggage, a suitcase. And inside that suitcase, there's stories.
She came to the realization by the sadness that overwhelmed her, that she was deceiving herself.
It's a very sexual play. It's an erotic play, and it's a sensual play, and it's a sexy play. It's also a sexual play. It's a play about impossible love, but it's on such a spiritual level, this love. Yes, it's erotic, it's sensual, but it's also spiritual. And how far we as human beings can go when we understand what great love is. And then, of course, yes, it's also a tragic love story.